Good morning, it's 7 a.m. Coming up here on BFMN. O.J. Simpson dead at 76, a look back at his famous and infamous parts of his life. A new update on the domestic violence situation revolving a JPD officer. Amazon is coming to Jonesboro. Faster delivery times are on their way. The infamous $19,000 lectern audit to be released. And finally, a check at your forecast. Good morning, it's 7 a.m. Hopefully you are having an amazing morning. Obviously, we have that breaking news story that O.J. Simpson is dead at 76, and that's what we're going to go to first. Here's a quick look at his famous and infamous life.
The guy known for his football career and infamous for his crimes he was accused of, O.J. Simpson, passing away surrounded by his family on Thursday. Simpson gained his fame as a running back for the University of Southern California, going on to play in the National Football League from 1965 to 1979, playing the majority of those years for the Buffalo Bills. Simpson then went on to marry Nicole Brown and had two children, Justin and Sydney, before they divorced 2 years before her killing in 1992. 2 years later, Nicole Brown was killed, and O.J. Simpson had been accused of the crime. And that began the infamous arrest of Simpson after a slow-speed chase broadcasted on national television in the iconic Ford Bronco. And the trial began with the gloves and the famous line from Johnny Cochran, one of the few lawyers for Simpson.
It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
While a criminal court jury found Simpson not guilty of murder, later, a civil trial jury found him liable in 1997 for the deaths and ordered him to pay $33.5 million to the family members of Brown, Simpson, and Goldman. Most of the money had never ended up being paid, though. Simpson went on to serve 9 years in a northern Nevada prison, but not for murder, and rather armed robbery. In 2008, a jury convicted Simpson after he led 5 men into a confrontation with two sports memorabilia dealers in a cramped Las Vegas hotel room. His death only came 2 months after being diagnosed with prostate cancer. Back to the news right here on BFMN.
Such an interesting life he lived. We're now going to turn to that breaking news revolving around a JPD officer and a domestic battery situation. Alexis Burns, the Jonesboro police officer, was charged with that on Wednesday, April 3rd. Deputies responded to a home in Bono where they found Burns on the front porch. Standing away was then 28-year-old Sydney Smith, whom a, quote, large amount of blood on her right side. That's what she had on her right side. Now, as the deputy placed Burns in handcuffs, KIT-TV reports she was saying repeatedly, quote, "That's my blood on her." Now, Deputy Tate then cuffed Smith, as she requested an ambulance. And there's so much more revolving this situation that you can find on KAIT8.com. Don't usually promote other news sources' websites, but since this is kind of out of our jurisdiction, I'll recommend you go there for the latest news. Your morning is going to start out cold as we have a low of 48 degrees Fahrenheit, but by the midday, temps rise and we have a high of 80, and it stays relatively warm throughout the night. As the night approaches by 12 a.m., it's only 65 degrees, so it's relatively warm for the nighttime. But again, a little bit more of a chilly morning ahead. Now, a wonderful sunny day is ahead of us here in Brookland, of course. Back to the news, though. Okay, Amazon is making its way to Jonesboro, meaning faster delivery times are on their way. Now, the building is 58,000 square feet and it is in the early stages of development and renovations. Now, that post that released this news stated that Amazon has invested $1.9 billion in Arkansas and that they pay their facilities range from $17 to $28 per hour. Now, the facility, when completed, will be located on Moore Road off of the Joe N. Martin Expressway. Now, this is also going to begin allowing for 1 hour delivery, something I sometimes even need. So that'll be something positive here. And now we're going to move on to that infamous $19,000 lectern, as it's back in the news as the State Legislative Joint Auditing Committee has approved an audit into the purchase of the $19,000 lectern made by the office of Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders. It will be released in 7 days as we stand here on Saturday. Okay. The lectern came into the news after it was purchased with a state credit card and then reimbursed by the Republican Party of Arkansas. And the governor calls it, and quote, accounting error. All right, that wraps up this version of Brookland's fastest morning newscast, or should I say edition of Brookland's fastest morning newscast. Thanks for watching. You can follow our socials at JACKSONMITCHELLBN on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Jackson Mitchell. Of course, on YouTube here, it's Brookland News, but our Twitter is a little bit different. Our X, it's JACKSONMITCHELBN. Okay, that's where you can find all the latest information. I'm pretty active on Twitter, posting the latest breaking news updates as we get them. But that ends this edition of Brookland's fastest morning newscast. Have a great day.